on, we carry on with these Venn diagrams. I just want to make sure you can see everything. Now, these Venn diagrams are just a very useful tool. That's what they are. They're just a tool. And we're going to look at, I guess you can say, a relationship between events. Some of it we already mentioned. Okay? So there's three possible relationships we're going to look at: complement, intersection, and union. And visually, the Venn diagrams help us a lot. So imagine we have, we're going to look with an example, our normal example. So we've got a dice, six sides. So yeah, the sample space is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we can think about A. Let's say A could be, I don't know what, I'll just go with what they have. The even numbers, okay? So 2, 4, and 6. Okay? Now I can also talk about not A, okay? We've done that, okay? What is going to be not A? Which numbers? 1, 3, 5. So what we're going to say, and here we can draw it like this. We can shade all the stuff in the sample space which is not in the event A. Okay? So that's A and that's not A. Okay? And what we're going to say is that not A is the complement of A. Complement of A means basically not A. Okay? Why do we call it complement? Because it completes the sample space. So the sample space is completed by A and not A, right? If I add A and not A together, I'll get the sample space. I think that's why we call it the complement. Okay? But anyway, it's called the complement. We all right with that? Right. Next thing we can look at, let's say A, I'll write 1, 3, 4, and B, I will say is 2, 3, 5, and 6. Okay? So I'm going to start writing the numbers. So I'm going to have 1, 4, and 3. That's in A. 2, 3, 5, and 6. Let's actually get rid of 6, just for the sake of it. Okay? So 2, 3, and 5. Okay? I'm missing one more number, which is over here, 6. Now, this area is called the intersection, which for obvious reasons. You can see why it's called the intersection. It's the intersection of A and B. Okay? So, we're going to write A and B. I'm looking at A and B. That's going to be 3. 3 is the intersection of A and B. It's the number that appears both in A and B. Does that make sense? I can see in the textbook they didn't do it, but I will just might as well do it. This is equivalent. Instead of writing A and B, I can write A, B. Okay? That sign. That's what do you call it? N, I guess. It looks like an N. It's upside down U. That's called the intersection of A and B. Right? It's not in the textbook now, but you will have to learn it, I guess, next year, so might as well do it now. Right. Now let's do the same example. So I'm going to put 1, 4, 3, 2, and 5, and I've got 6 there. Now I can call the union of A and B. What do you reckon the union of A and B means? Join. All together, okay? So the unions of A and B are going to be all those numbers, okay? So it's not going to be A and B. What will we call it in English? A or B. So whenever you have an or, you've got some kind of union, okay? Okay, not Kosato union, but union, okay? So what are we going to have here? 1, 4, 3, 2, and 5. 2 and 5. Okay? A or B. A or B. Not A or A, just A or. And just like we had here, a mathematical symbol for and, okay, that means and, or intersection. We're going to have another one. What do you reckon it's going to look like? This is an upside down U. Oh, we have a proper U. Okay? That's the same. Okay? A union B. U for union maybe. I don't know. We alright with that? That's pretty easy. I'll just pause here. Right, so now we're going to do our first proper example. So we've got a sample of students who are taking options. They can take geography or accounting or both or neither. Okay? So let's start with, let's just ask ourselves, how many people are there altogether? 150, right? 90 plus 10 plus 30 plus 20 is 150. That's the whole sample space. Now they're asking us, how many people take geography and accounting? 30. It's easy, it's just reading. When you're reading the intersection, okay, so it's 30. How many people don't take either of these subjects? 90. Okay, we just want to make sure we understand how to read this map. At least one subject. At least. 10 plus 30 plus 20 is 60. Some of them actually take 2, but at least, okay? The difficult thing, as I told you in the first lesson, the probabilities, the problem is the language. It's kind of like financial maths, as you'll see. The language is important. If English is not your first language, it can really hurt, okay? Geography, but not accounting. How many people take geography but not accounting? Okay, now it's just those, just 10, you're right. There are 40 people who take geography, but of them only 10 take geography and don't take accounting. Okay? Are we all happy with that? Now, a little bit more tricky is when they're asking you to calculate probabilities. So I'm just going to pause here for a second. Right. So now comes the case where we actually calculate probabilities. So the first one, well, before actually we even do that, let's just write, for my sake, what was the sample space here?
150.
150. So there's 150 altogether. So whenever we calculate probability, we're counting how many are in this event, and we're dividing it by the sample space. So all these numbers, we're going to have to divide by 150. Okay? Because we're calculating probabilities. Okay, so what's the probability of not A? How many are not in A? So let's ask ourselves, how many are actually in A? 50. So 100 are not in A. If there are 50 in A, that means there's in not A, there are 100. So it's going to be 100 divided by 150. Okay? How much is that? 10 over 15, 2 over 3. Yeah, is that what he said? Somebody said that, but I heard it coming from that. So anyway, 2 over 3. Okay? Right. That was pretty easy. Now it's becoming a little bit more difficult. Check this. G, or the probability of G, or not A. Okay. Now, we got to break it down. Whenever we have that or, that means we're adding, right? Or is not intersection, is a union. So, I know what G is. Okay? Yeah, I need to be careful. First of all, what is not A? Okay? Not A is 100. Okay? Of which 90 are here and 10 are there. Okay? Let's put it this way. Okay? I'm going to start doing some colors. So not A is basically all that. That's not A. Yeah? What is G? Okay? I'm going to shade that. Okay? G is voila, 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 voila. So when I'm saying G or not A, is it 20? What am I shading? I'm shading all the ones.
But if it's not A, wouldn't it be?
So what am I not shading? What's the only thing?
Everything but A.
Except for 20. Oh, it's not everything just beside A, because it's also, I've also shaded these 30.
But then would it also include the 90 if it's just not A?
Yeah. So the not A is the 90 plus the 10 is 100. The not A, that's the 90. Sorry, the 100, the not A is 100. Okay? G also includes these 30. Right? Are you happy with that? So the only thing that is not shaded is that 20. In other words, how many do we have here? If the only thing I'm missing is 20, it's going to be 130. Tricky, eh? That's why we're using these Venn diagrams. Okay, I'll repeat again. I'm adding group G to group not A. Not A is basically all those, except for that 50. if I'm adding group G, because I'm doing a union, I'm also going to add that 30. So I've got 130. Okay, I'll pause here and make some, clean it, and we'll move on. So now we again doing an AND. AND stands not for it's not or, it's an intersection. We're not finding the union of two groups. We actually find the intersection. So we're looking for the probability of not G happening and at the same time A is happening. So let's again shade them and see what the intersection. Whenever you have AND, you're looking for intersection. So let's start with the simple one, A. So I'm going to shade A. Okay. So I need to choose an event that is part of A, but also has to be not G. So how am I going to do not G? Everything there. Everything which is not in G. Now I've got to ask myself, which one? I'm asking which group have I shaded twice?
A.
Okay, not the whole A, because I didn't shade that here.
20.
I shaded, so it's the 20. Okay? I shaded that little moon here because it's A and also because it's not G. I shaded that 30 because it's A, but I didn't shade it because it's not G. So we only have, I know it's tricky, isn't it? Okay? So it's 20 over 150, it's 2 over 15. And it's a lot of language, isn't it? It's a lot of language. Okay? Boys are very tired. Come, guys. Okay, so here it's going up. Okay? Right, guys, I'll just pause here to make sure you're alright with that. Shut up now. Okay. So, yeah, this is a tough question. They're not all going to be the same. Now we're looking for not, okay, so something which is not the other thing. And what is the thing which is not? G and A. So always start from the smallest bracket, just like you do when you multiply things, bod maths, you start with the inner brackets, the same here. Okay, let's think, what is G and A? Okay? Okay? What is G and A? The intersection of G and A, it's that 30. So just like Luke said, well, if G and A is 30, not G and A is basically everything else. So it's going to be 90 over 150. You're absolutely right. We divided by 30 is going to be 3 over 5, I think. Yeah. Okay, guys?
Wait,
Let me just pause and I'll answer questions. On record. Erin is absolutely right. Sorry about that, Luke. I'm going to have to ditch you. So, Erin, you're saying very correctly that it's basically all the numbers that are not shaded, not in the blue. So that means it's the 90, but it's not just the 90. Okay? It's also the 20 and it's also the 10. Okay? Or, more quickly, 150 minus the 30. So it's everything apart from these 30. So, I don't know why. Anyway, 120 over 150, which is 12 over 50. Ollie, I'll just pause and answer you. Another addition here from Ollie. Okay, Ollie reckons, but hang on, sir, I want the answer to be 90 over 150, which I did. That is an answer for a different question. What is the question? Okay, 90 over 150 is basically when I'm asking, it's not G or A. If I'm looking at the union of G and A, okay, and I don't want that group, then the answer will be 90 over 150.
yes.
Okay? So that's the difference between those two. And. Okay? I'll stop here and let's do some work.